Good afternoon. I'm Chris Hunsicker, Managing Partner of Xceldevelopment, and I'm really excited to take a couple minutes to share with you some concepts and ideas for our upcoming program, 4 Leadership Myths. At Xceldevelopment, we spent the last couple of years looking at what makes leaders effective and what makes leaders ineffective, and we found 8 myths that are common that we seem to see across organizations, in both public and private organizations, that derail executives, get people in trouble, or allow organizations to lose their sense of purpose and mission. We now almost all have smartphones, but very few of us have smart leaders. The 4 leadership myths I'm going to share with you today is a 2-hour condensed program that we're going to share on October 14th. The first myth that we're going to talk about is the myth of the charismatic leader. There's this sense that somehow in order to be a great leader you have to be part rock star, part cheerleader, part Anthony Robbins, and be on the cover of a magazine. What we found is just the opposite, that it's humility, it's the ability to bring people together, it's to be able to share resources as well as sharing credit that truly make organizations effective. As a matter of fact, Jim Collins in his book Good to Great talked about this constellation of attributes that he called the level 5 leader. The second myth that you're going to see is what we call the myth of the great leader recipe. In other words, how do I become a great leader? As if there's some magic recipe like the 11 herbs and spices of Kentucky Fried Chicken. What we found is just the opposite. If you look across 30 years of research of what makes leaders great, what we found is there isn't a lot of commonality. There's some thoughts and ideas around being a good person, being ethical, being trustworthy, but beyond that, there isn't a lot of cohesion and there isn't a lot of agreement. However, almost all of the literature is universal in describing what bad leaders are like, what causes people to get derailed in their management and leadership experience. In this program, we're going to share with you 5 keys as to why talented leaders fail and how they get themselves in trouble as we go through. The third myth is what we call the myth of the golden gut. And really what we're looking at here is, no matter how high you are in the organizational chart, where your box is, that doesn't mean that your gut feeling is better than everybody else. More importantly, the wisdom of a large group of people almost always exceeds the wisdom of an individual. But often because of how we view leadership and power, one person's gut feel tends to override the data from other people. As a matter of fact, many leaders will edit out, cancel, or delete data that doesn't support their preconceived ideas or the gut feeling that we had. We're going to really spend some time in an organization on how do you move good leaders from sound bites to sound thinking, so that in your board meetings, in your leadership meetings, and in your leadership teams, how do you get from sound bites and great thoughts to sound thinking that's based on data and lets you make good decisions. And the 4th leadership myth is what we call the problem with intelligence. Not intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence. Some of the worst training that you can get to be a leader occurs in our leading business schools. Getting an MBA can do more to destroy your ability to be a good leader than it can to help it. We want to spend some time looking at the difference between IQ and EQ, or emotional intelligence, and really dive into the issue of servant leadership. There's one fundamental change that we've seen with the new Generation Xers and Generation Yers coming into the workforce, and that is that in the past there was a sense that if you take baby boomers and their parents, you had respect for the institution. If you had a police officer that wasn't a very good man, your mom and dad sat down and told you, you respect the office because he has a badge, even if individually he's a bad person. Well, the Gen Xers and the Gen Ys are saying, I'm not going to follow you just because you're an institution or you have a badge. I'm going to follow you because you deserve to be followed. As a leader, you need to earn the right to lead the people that you're going with. We're going to share with you 3 keys to becoming a servant leader and engaging more people more often in what you do. I really hope we get a chance to see you. It'll be October 14th at 6 o'clock p.m. We can't wait to have you, and I guarantee you that you will walk away with 2 or 3 ideas that are going to be able to fundamentally transform your personal leadership as well as the cultures within you live and operate. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you.